Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Willpower. And we got some bad news yesterday where there's not going to be any baseball for two series. Sounds like six to seven games. Ralph Manfred came out and said it in his speech. He doesn't look concerned at all, but I think he should be concerned. It's not something that's like he should be taken lightly because a lot of players are actually voted against his, or not his, but MLB's what do you call it, rules and stuff like they want to put in place. So I mean, I don't know, Will, like what else did happen in that meeting yesterday? I know they didn't come out happy.
Um, yeah, it seems like they're just still too far apart on
Yeah,
the bigger issues. There's a lot of issues that they've already solved. They've
yeah,
already talked about expanded playoffs. They've already talked about the universal DH, which makes the game more fun. And owners got to love that expanded playoffs because then they get to sell playoff jerseys and they get to sell tickets to playoff games, and it's just more revenue for them, and it's great for the players too. They're playing for something, and it's not just 8 teams that are going to the playoffs anymore.
yeah.
They actually doubled it. It's more than half the league that's actually going to go to the playoffs. So it's a good experience for the players. The guys that were never able to make the playoffs before, and now they actually get to, which we saw in like the 2020 season. And was it last year that they had expanded playoffs as well?
No, they didn't. They just had it
No,
in
they
the
didn't,
2020
right? So it was
season.
just
Yeah,
2020. So that I like that. I like to see that, other teams get a chance to see playoff, get some playoff experience, and fans get to see their teams in the playoffs, and it makes baseball more exciting. The same thing with the universal DH. We're going to see a lot of teams. Dude, when this lockout is over, look at all these players that are going to be able to sign big contracts, guys like well, Marcelo Osuna is still with the Braves, but he's going to be the DH for the Braves, and that's going to boost his value by so much. He's horrible in the field, but
what do you
there's
mean?
so many teams
The
that are going.
best.
There's so many teams that are just going to find value in players that they never could before because they always had to fill them in a position on the field.
Look,
So
since you're talking about value and you're talking about contracts and all that, so let's go ahead and dive into what really is the lockout about. And you just hit it right there, where players are getting paid to go to these big teams, right? I saw comments on YouTube that they said we're only going to see those top players. I mean, those top, sorry, those top teams get those top players because they have the money. That's why they should go ahead and go and do that salary cap. I honestly don't think that the salary cap should be part of the MLB, only because these teams, we talked about it a lot of times when Tony was here. We talked about the Pirates. We talked about these teams that are like low budget teams, and they say, "Oh, they can't afford a player," but in reality, they can.
oh
Owner,
yeah, they can,
those owners are making so much money,
dude.
and yeah, dude, it's just crazy to me. It's
You know
crazy
what
to
a
me.
lot of people don't realize is that when a team comes in last place, they get draft pick compensation,
Yeah,
and that's another thing that the MLBPA is trying to get rid of because it's a lot of teams start tanking when they do that. Teams like the Orioles that don't care if their pitching is solid. They have their star hitters. They have Trey Mancini. They have Mountcastle. They have a good hitting squad, and that's what puts butts in the seats, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
they're not really winning games because they don't prevent a lot of runs because all their pitchers are just horrible. The Pirates really don't have any assets at all, man. They got rid of Adam Frazier. They got rid of Josh Bell a few years ago. They didn't re-sign McCutcheon. They let him go.
But see, that's what happens with all these teams down there. They develop these players, and they are good players, and you're like, damn, that team was stacked. But then they go ahead and they get rid of all those players to get more draft picks, more players that they don't have to pay. So these owners are not paying these players because they just don't want to. They
Which,
have the product to put out there. I mean, they
oh
have
yeah,
the money to put the product on the field. They just don't want to do it. And that's the problem. It's not about salary cap, and it's not about fairness. It's not about the Yankees. It's not about the Dodgers. It's not about the Red Sox. Not about the Cubs. Why are they doing it? They're doing it because the fans are demanding it, because the fans are going out there to the stadiums and actually spending their hard work earned money, right? And I'm pretty sure if this was happening in New York, to where they're not putting players out in the field, they'll stop going. They'll boycott the Yankees. That's why I'm wearing the Yankee hat, because they are the top team. And I mean, let's face it, they are. So if they're not producing, guess what? The fans are going to go against the owner, and the owner's going to feel it in his pockets, because those seats are expensive. So this is what the lockout is mainly part of what's going on. It's not entirely everything, but it is one of those things that we need to dive into. And a lot of people are taking it to where the players don't want to play, and it's not that. It's what you just mentioned with the rookies, that they're not getting paid, and then the owners are making tons of money, and they're trying to say, "Oh no, we're trying to make it fair to where we're getting players too, so we can be a fair playing field." And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. It's just, I think, like we've been talking about the Pirates, I think they need to put more money, man. And if it's not happening,
Yeah.
what can they do?
In 2022, Max Scherzer is going to make about $40 million. And the entire Pirates payroll, including managers and personnel and all their players, is less than what Max Scherzer makes in one single year.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to tell me that a professional Major League Baseball team can't afford to put a team on the field that's worth more than just one single player on a team that is really just like a few hours away from them? It doesn't make any sense, dude. It's kind of like what the Marlins did a few years ago before Jeter took over. And
dude, why did Jeter just quit though? Could that be a problem? Could that be the problem though?
I think it is a big problem.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be that. Tony Martinez, saludos, compa. Saludos, dude. How's it going, man? Oh yeah, let's keep going. It's just I saw it on the feed. But I think Jeter was one of them that were like, wait, this is happening. I think it's time for me to step down.
Jeter's a former player. I'm sure he's on the player side along with the owner side, but I think that he above all has the best middle ground because he's been there.
Yeah.
How many other Major League Baseball team owners have actually been players in the past?
A lot of them.
Well, current owners?
Oh, current? No. Oh, current owners? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like none of those guys were ever players. They're billionaires or even a little less millionaires who could actually afford to buy some shares in a professional sports team. And they're like, oh, this is fun. I own a professional sports team, and they look at it more as like a business. And that's great. Look at it as a business. But you also have to realize that you have to make people happy to make your business successful. It's not just about what makes you happy. It's not just about the money. It's what kind of product you're putting out there. Baseball is somewhat of a dying sport, sad to say.
It is.
Look at the ratings for the Super Bowl compared to the World Series. That they're a world of a difference, between them. And what are we going to do about it? Us as fans can't do anything about it. We watch and buy jerseys and buy shirts and hats, and that's about basically all we can do. It's the owners that have to try to put the product out there for not us avid baseball fans to keep on watching, but to put a product out there for the non-watchers so that that way they can get excited about, oh, what's happening in baseball right now. I got to see what everyone's talking about. But that's not happening. The last time that happened was back in the 90s when we had the home run race between McGuire and Sosa and the steroid era. That's really the last time that I can think of that baseball was actually exciting to watch.
It was gaining momentum, and it gained momentum because it got a lot of fans to watch the games. We talk about it here where we were kids and we were watching cartoons, and it will cut the cartoon to get to the McGuire at bat or the Sosa at bat to see chasing the what was it, Roger Maris record. And it was crazy. I remember that. So now it's to where people are saying baseball is boring, baseball is not even getting watched. Well, we're not getting the game's not getting watched because it's on cable all the time, right?
Yeah,
We talked about
that's
that
a
again.
big issue. That's a big
Yeah.
issue. But
So
what company was it? I don't remember what. Oh, I think it was YouTube.
YouTube.
I don't remember. There's a company that is trying to get rights for a certain amount of MLB games that can be broadcasted on basic cable television.
Okay.
I don't remember which company it is. Might be YouTube, but yeah, they're trying to get. I want to say it was like 20% of baseball games put on just
It
basic cable.
it should be more though. Like right now, I'm
Oh
coaching.
yeah,
I'm
but at
helping
least it's a
coach.
start.
Yeah, but I'm helping coach a little league team, and I want to tell them so bad, go and see a baseball game. Go and see how this second baseman is actually like doing his footwork. See a shortstop, see a pitcher, see the outfielder, how he hits his cutoff man. And you can't do that. Like, why can't you do that? Because there's games on cable. First of all, the lockout's going on. So there's no baseball games going, but it's to where you can't tell them to go on TV and look for it. Yeah, you can tell them to go on YouTube and search for it, but the chances of that happening for a kid to look for baseball on YouTube is slim to none. They'll rather watch how to draw a baseball player compared to how to move your footwork on second base. They're not going to do that. So I think the game has been dying, and it's going to continue to die because we have people that are in high grounds like Rob Manfred, for instance. He doesn't understand that every game you're losing a fan. And to me, if it's a business, you need to understand that the business is only going to succeed if you have your owners happy and your players happy. And if he's a mediator or whatever he is, he needs to try to get those two playing together. Bueller said it best, dude. He said it's not about millionaires fighting billionaires, which we'll get into that now since I brought it up. But what do you think of that statement by Bueller? I know a lot of fans hated that statement, and they gave him so much crap that he had to take that down. And I don't agree with him taking it down. He should have left it up. It's like me saying I don't like my owner. I want more money. Give me more money, or I'm a strike. Pretty much.
But see, I feel like the people that have a problem with it are the ones that don't even really know what kind of talks are
Economics.
going on in the CBA. Because you think about these guys as like, Bueller makes 17 million a year or whatever it is because he hasn't reached free agency yet. So he's on like the lower spectrum of like the top aces in the league.
Exactly.
But the MLBPA is not fighting for these guys to get more money.
They're
They're
fighting
fighting
for
for the
lower.
younger guys, the
Yeah.
guys that they used to be
Yeah.
before they started making all these money. On average, the minor league baseball players only make about $8,000 to $13,000 a year. That is ridiculous, dude. That is so low. And I get it. Like you choose this life, right? You choose to follow your passion and try to become a major league baseball player, but it's still a job,
It's
and
still a job.
you can't afford rent and food and electricity and gas and your car. You can't afford that on $13,000 a year.
Oh,
How?
of course not.
You know how they do it? Because
It's simple economics.
they share rent between like 6 7 guys in their clubhouse. They have like 2 3 bedroom apartments where there's 2 guys in every bedroom, and we don't know the size of these bedrooms. They could be like tiny. It could be like kind of like living in a college dorm, right?
Hmm.
But you have to realize that these guys are top athletes. They
They have
need
a talent that we don't have.
exactly, and they
That's what it is.
deserve to be compensated a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that the minimum that each minor league baseball players should make is closer to like 20 to 25,000.
For
If these
what?
guys
For
are making
season?
20,000, yeah, a year, a
Oh,
year,
a year. Whoa,
yeah,
it's a little bit.
it is a little bit, but
Yeah.
20,000, if you have, three roommates, so if you're living with, two or three other guys in a 2 3 bedroom apartment, it's a little more comfortable. You can afford a little bit better food. It's not so cramped all the time. Of course they can't afford to pay these guys, $50,000 a year.
No, of
that
course not.
that's way too much money, and that's the owners would just laugh in the players association's face anyway if they were to even ask for that much. But they're not even asking for that, dude. They're asking for a very small amount to go towards the younger players that have not reached arbitration yet. There's a lot of younger players that we see out there, these rookies that make very, very little money. And how are they supposed to make extra money? I mean, look at Tatis, right? Even if he didn't sign that extension with the Padres, he'd still be making a lot of money right now because he was on the cover of MLB The Show. He has endorsements through Nike and various companies that like the kind of product that he's putting out there personally. But what
Yeah.
about these other guys that are not stars, are not superstars? That they
That are
deserve a little bit of
grinding and
cash
trying to
too.
get up to the
Yeah,
major league level. And I
exactly.
understand that. Like I understand what the life of a minor leaguer is really sad. Like a lot of people think that, oh no, he plays baseball for a minor league team. He's good. He got it fixed. Like, no, dude. Like I known a few minor league players, and what they do is they have to pay for their own travel sometimes. They got
Yep.
to pay for their own hotel sometimes.
Yep.
They got to pay for their own food sometimes. That's why they sometimes they live in their car, like they buddy up, like you just said, two to a room, five to a room, whatever it takes for you to be as comfortable as you can with the little bit of money that you're receiving. Of
See,
course,
and a lot of
the
them don't
season's not
even
all the
complain
time.
about it. They don't
No,
complain about it because they know, like, this is my chance. I need to get to where I need to be. This is the path, but why are we making the path so hard for them?
yeah,
If
and it shouldn't be that hard, but it is hard. It is hard. So see, that's where the realignment of the double A, triple A, and single A. Remember they were saying of removing it. Maybe you can add college ball to that single A and get rid of single A. Like you don't
Yeah.
need to. That's where you can avoid paying that money, and you can go ahead and distribute it between double A and triple A. College NCAA is a different rule. You can't get paid. You can't get free food, and I really don't know much of those regulations, and I'm not going to try to get into it because
I
I
believe
might
they
say something
actually
wrong.
changed the NCAA rule that they can get paid now.
They can. Okay,
Yeah.
so see that they're changing because their rules too. They had to go through something so they can go ahead and get paid because these kids were giving those universities a lot of money. Like, like let's say USC. I'm going way back. Reggie Bush. He was one of the big time running backs for USC. And how many people didn't buy that jersey? Did he get any money on that? No. All that money is for USC.
Yep.
So that's things that they don't see. Now, looking a little bit more further with the lockout, what happens to all those employees that work to give you food, to put you in your parking spot, to take those ticket stubs, to check your bags, like all those employees that are not working right now, they're feeling it. And we're not even thinking about that. We're
Yeah.
thinking about the players right now, but then we're going a little bit more
And those are
deeper.
just normal jobs that probably don't
Yeah.
even pay that much to begin with.
No, no. So that we're going into deeper. Like the lockout is not just based on the players, it's based on like so many people are getting affected by it. And when you dig deeper, that's when you see like, man, how many people are waiting on that job or that season to start so they can go ahead and go back to work because they can't find anything else. I mean, yeah, they should find something else, but reality, like everybody sticks to what they know. And if that's what they know and that's what they love doing, they're going to go ahead and do it. And right now, those people are suffering because there's not going to be a baseball season for 6 to 7 games, depending on the schedule. It's not every team that's going to lose 6, 7 games. because see, it's going to be interesting if they do come back, right? Because like the Angels and the Dodgers are going to lose 7 games, and the Angels are going to lose 6 games because those are 2 series that's supposed to happen at the beginning of the of which was supposed to start on March 31st. And how is that going to happen if down the stretch you have 2 games left and one of them has 1 game, and that half game determines who goes to
Yeah, it's
the
gonna have
playoffs?
to go by win percentage rather than total wins.
See, that's where they're screwing themselves up again. So yeah, it's just when you dig into it a lot more, you're just like looking at everything and you're seeing the people that are getting affected. And yeah, I'm on the side of the baseball players because yeah, the minor leaguers do need to get paid, but then you need, as an owner, you need to start thinking like, okay, my employees are getting affected too. What can I do, or what should I do to put my product out there so my employees can get work and I can
And
start making more money?
not only that, dude, but you have to realize that all these people that are missing out on jobs right now, they missed out on the whole 2020 season. So they're still probably trying to play catch up.
Yeah, and if it's another shortened season, I heard this joke, and like if it's a shortened season, that means the Dodgers are going to win the World Series again. Uh, and then we're going to hear a lot of people, "Oh, it's a shortened season." Like whatever, I
By
like the
2
joke.
series.
Yeah, I like the joke. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Hey, man,
But
whether it's a shortened season or not, when you have 16 teams going to the playoffs, it's a race, and it doesn't matter even if you just cancel the whole season or not. Once you get to the playoffs, it's a brand new ball game. What
yep,
what happened in the regular season does not matter anymore. The Dodgers were in the wild card for the National League division because the Giants just kind of ran away with it, and the Dodgers ended up beating the Giants. They beat the best team in baseball. They didn't
yep.
go all the way, unfortunately, but that's just how things happen. There's hot streaks and cold streaks in baseball. You can't predict stuff like that.
That's true. We have Jasper on here. What's up, Jasper?
What's up, Jasper?
Um, I know you don't like the lockout. We don't like the lockout. I think any baseball fan likes the lockout. I had a interesting thing with YouTube where we had comments on one of the videos I posted yesterday, and that's why I came up with digging deeper into what the lockout really means for workers and owners. Like I like the dialogue. I would love for more people to do that, because when you have two people talking about baseball and you have that background where you have people talking to you about it and you start digging into different people's heads, it's like it brings you up to like, what, then I didn't think about that,
Yeah,
and that's
different
that's always a
perspective.
good thing. Yeah, it's a different perspective, and that's always good, that dialogue going on. And especially with the lockout, it's just amazing, how many things and little things get affected by the lockout, which I didn't even think about. And I think a lot of people out there are the same way, which I don't know. Do you have any more key points to the lockout? I know you took notes and all that stuff. Because I
Yeah,
mean, I'm just going off of what people are saying and going off of what the news is saying. I know there's more deeper stuff out there, and I know like you did your research, and there's people out there. Go ahead and message here. I think we'll love the dialogue. That's why we have a live feed, so we can talk about it. It's not something where we rehearsed, because we never rehearse. We just go and we make it happen. So go ahead, Will. Like, I know you did your little research and stuff like that, man. What
yeah.
else is going on?
Talking about Manfred's press conference from the other day, he had a quote. He said, the failure to come to an agreement was not because of a lack of effort." And right when he said that, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? The lockout started December 2nd, and the first time you guys meet was January 13th. You had over 6 weeks to meet at least once to discuss everything that the players wanted and everything that the owners wanted. So that way you had time. You had 6 weeks time to at least know what was on the table. But they had no idea what each other was really going to go for. The season had already been over for over a month. by the
Yeah.
time that the lockout started. And
Yeah.
during that time, there's no way that Max Scherzer or I think I saw Trey Turner in the Players Association also, and there's no way that they could have put their 2 cents out there for the owners to hear them, or the opposite, where owners could have at least brought something forward for the Players Association to hear, so that way they can kind of like think about it over the holidays and then come back in January and come ready to talk. You had to wait 6 weeks after the lockout to actually really discuss anything. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous. Of course, there's failure on your head. There's failure on both sides. Both sides should have fought to meet before December 2nd,
Of course.
and before January 13th. I get it, holidays, Christmas and New Year's. That's fine, So from December 15th to January 1st, fine, nothing. There's a 2 week period right there where you guys don't have to talk. But there was a 6 week gap where there was no talks at all. And
None.
that's what I find ridiculous. And that's why we don't have baseball right now. That's why pitchers and catchers haven't reported. That's why the first 2 series of baseball hasn't were canceled, because they just waited too long. They met 7 consecutive days in a row this past month in February, from February 21st up until February 27th. They met every single day. Why
Yeah.
didn't they do that in January? Why didn't
That's
they
because
do that at the beginning of December once the lockout started? You knew that the players were not allowed to go back in there. So get this shit done now, so that way guys that are on the injured reserve list right now, or these coaches and trainers can actually go to the facility and do their job. This is a job. People don't realize, like, yeah, they're out there, they're entertaining us, but this is their job. They get paid to do this. And these trainers don't get paid millions of dollars like the players do. So the trainers are losing money too.
yeah, you
They
got to
have
look in deep,
contracts. They
deep,
have
dude.
contracts. Yeah. Every
It's
single person that's involved in this is losing money. And it doesn't have to be just about money. It's about taking responsibility for your actions as well.
yeah,
If I have a problem at work, I'm going to go to my boss and try to talk to him about it right away. I'm not going to wait 6 weeks. Why? So the problem could just get worse.
yeah, we'll get worse.
January 6th, no, January 13th, the first time they met, and they knew that they only had 2 months from that point to figure out something before pitchers and catchers were supposed to report. It wasn't due to lack of effort. I think that's bullshit. Manfred, I
You
can't.
mean Manfred? You mean Manfred, the guy that said it's a piece of metal? The World Series trophy is just a
Yeah,
piece of metal.
yeah, the
It doesn't
businessman,
surprise me,
the
but it
businessman.
doesn't surprise me that he says that. It doesn't surprise me that he would say that. There's a footage there where he's walking towards the place where they're gonna meet. It looked like he was running to, well, not running, but he was walking a little fast because he needed to rip one, So I'll probably make a video and add a fart to it or something, whatever, so it can make people laugh. But it's just amazing how it happens, and we're not there. We don't know what's going on. As fans, we're just looking, right? We're not business owners. We're not players, but we see what's going on, and we're seeing as it's developing. A lot of people are actually being spectacle right now. A lot of people are saying that maybe they can get a deal done this week, and a lot of people are saying, nah, it's not going to happen. I think the whole baseball season is going to be canceled. They're not going
That's
to come to an
ridiculous.
agreement. Just like it could happen. It could
I mean,
happen.
it could, but do you really think that either side is really going to let that happen? Well,
It,
if the lockout continues and there is no season, no player is getting money this year.
no player is going to get paid for those
No player,
games.
and the owners aren't going to get any money because they're not putting out their product out there either. Ticket
No.
sales, and vendors and everything that they sell at the stadium. That's money that's going in the billionaires' pockets.
Yeah, but
there's
they still have other way of revenue. They still can go ahead and rent
yeah,
out
but
for a
nowhere
concert.
near what they would have got if they
the
actually
baseball
had some
season was
butts
going
in the
on.
seats.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where I was like, kind of like, don't be angry at the players, be angry at the owners. And don't be angry at the people that saying that are making millions that they can go ahead and lock out the season and say, I don't want to play because the billionaire is making so much money. It's not about millionaires against billionaires. And that's where I was trying to get to before we started kind of talking about something else. It's like the Walker Bueller, like when he said that, and we didn't hit the key point of that conversation. That's why I'm bringing it up again, to where a lot of people were talking so much junk about him, and it's not even about that. It's not about him saying what he's trying to get. He's not trying to get any money off of it. And you said it. You said that he's trying to defend the players that are not getting paid. So why are fans agreeing with some of the things that Manfred is saying? Because Manfred is putting things out there to say, oh yeah, the players don't want to do this. The players are they're being selfish and they don't want to play. Like, it's not even about that, man. It's more about what Will said, that the freaking minor league players are not getting paid what they should. And then you have
It's not just the minor league players either. It's the rookies that have actually
the
made it to
rookies
Major League Baseball.
that are
People don't
producing a
realize,
lot of
like,
money.
they see everyone on TV. Oh, that guy's a millionaire. That guy's a millionaire. You really think a 20-year-old that just got called up at the beginning of this season is already a millionaire? No
Like,
way,
let's
dude.
let's, let's look at
Not even
Juan Soto.
close.
Let's look at Juan Soto when he destroyed. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's not getting paid a lot of money
No
like we
way.
think he is. He's not.
He
He
could be.
rejected.
He
He
could be
could be
because he rejected that extended contract from the Nationals. 350 million for 13 years. Was that right?
something like that. I can't remember the number, but man, I don't know. He probably doesn't want to be a national all his
Yeah,
career.
I
Like,
think that's what it is.
I
He
think he
probably
probably wants
sees
to.
the organization as not really like a viable option for the future. He wants to play
But
for a
the
contender.
Nationals are kind of like, whatever, it's cool. We got your brother. He looks more beast than you. You know, you could go sign a contract with someone else, but that's a lot of money too.
He's going to be a Yankee.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, his buddy is Trey Turner, so you never know. Trey Turner's
Mhm.
daughter.
Yeah, but who knows if Trey Turner is going to stay with the Dodgers either.
That's true. They still haven't extended his contract or anything. They haven't even talked. Well, they can't talk about it because there's a lockout.
Yeah, they
See,
can't
these are
talk
the
about
things
it.
that kind of sucks, man. We want to do fantasy baseball. We want to do all these things, and we can't even get ready for it because we don't know when the season's going to start. Right now, there's only 7 to 6 games, 2 series canceled. Maybe in a few weeks, it's going to be more.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
it's
I
going to
mean, don't even think about just the regular season. Look at all these free agents that haven't been
haven't
able to do
signed.
anything.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman
Clayton
is a
Kershaw.
free agent. Carlos Correa is a free agent.
Clayton Kershaw.
Rodon is a free agent. You know, there were other players that were lucky enough to sign a contract before this ended, so that way they
Mhm.
already know what their value's at. Corey
Yep.
Seager, Marcus Simeon, Max Scherzer, but people don't realize like Nelson Cruz. Like honestly, I do think that it was in Nelson Cruz's best interest not to sign a contract before the lockout because now they agreed on the universal DH, so he could literally sign with any team and
Any
play every
team.
single day.
So that just increased his like network increased from half to full.
Yeah,
Now he has the full teams. All teams in MLB can go after this guy. So that's
he's 40
amazing.
years old, but dude, that
He can
40-year-old
rake.
bombs, man,
He still can
40-year-old
rake.
bombs. Hell
He's,
yeah.
he still can hit dingers.
Hey, honestly, like we've been talking about in a previous episode, how the contract had run out with the doping commission and MLB. There's going to be a lot of jacked up dudes out there hitting bombs, dude, all
Not
year
bombs,
long.
dingers. You got to say dingers.
Super dingers, super dingers. We're going to see some 500-foot bombs, Doug.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I just wanted baseball to come back. It's one of those comfort things for me. It's a lot of comfort for a lot of people. Um, let's see. If
You know what I'm
if
surprised about?
yeah,
Why isn't because I've heard from multiple players, multiple MLB players, that they don't like 162 games. Anthony Rizzo has been very vocal about that. 162 is just too much. So why isn't that in part of the new CBA to try to get a little bit less games? Like
Uh,
I've been talking to people at work about that, and just kind of like or random baseball fans, and these guys sometimes play 7 days a week, 2 to 3 weeks at a time,
yeah,
you know, and individual players get days off because it's just their scheduled day off or whatever, but the team doesn't. so to constantly be traveling like that and constantly be at the ballpark, and you have to be there whether you have the day off or not, unless the team has the day off. If the team has the day off, then you can practice, you can relax, do your own thing, do whatever you want to do. But 162 games, that's the most of any professional sport, man. Do we
yeah.
really need 162 games of baseball to find out who is the best team?
Yeah.
I personally think it's a little too much also. I love watching baseball, but I don't watch 162 games.
So you think it'll be more competitive if you have it shortened?
Oh, way
Um,
more competitive. That's the whole point of the expanded playoffs, right?
so you think that the 60 game season was more competitive than the
Mm,
162?
I think 60 was a little too short, just because I I think you have to determine how many series that you should have in the season, not necessarily how many games. Because a series win is overall, I think, more important than just single game
Oh,
wins.
of course, that mindset changed. That mindset was changed, and I think Dave Roberts was one of the ones that pushed it a lot. It's not about winning games; it's about winning series. And that mindset changed from when I was a kid. It was about winning games, not winning series. So that mindset changed a lot for me when I heard that. And I'm like, well, we lost yesterday, but we have a chance to win the series tomorrow, you know? So, and that's always good because you take 2 out of 3, or you take 2 out of 2. I mean, 2 out of 4, which is you come 50-50, or you take 3 out of the 4, and you're just like, whoa, you know? Um,
Or
and
go
that
for the
mindset has
sweep.
changed. Oh, the ultimate sweep, which is 4 games. It's like, wow, like really? Or you can do a double header and win 2 games this one day, and then the next day you win the next game, and you go home winning 3 in 2 days. Or two
So,
double headers in 2 days,
oh, that's rough.
which yeah, that's rough. Did they ever change the 7 inning rule thing where they have double headers, or that was just a shortened season?
That was just in the shortened season. So now all doubleheaders will be going back to the 9 innings.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of rules that might come back because of the shortened season. So that's another thing that's going to have to happen. It's going to be like, where if it's a shortened season, are they going to modify the season to where the players don't have to get exhausted? Because
Yeah.
to gear up for 162 games, you need an entire full spring training for your body to get adjusted to those 162 games.
Yeah.
It's not as
It's
simple as saying, I'm gonna go and play, like, honey, see you tomorrow. Like,
it's the
nah,
same
it's not
thing
about that.
like when you start a workout routine. If you're a beginner, you can't just go in there and go to the gym 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get injured. You need to
Yeah.
build yourself up. You need to start off slow, which is why these pitchers in spring training usually only go 2 or 3 innings at a time to begin with, to build up their pitch count, to build up their strength. So
Yep.
that way they
Yeah.
don't injure themselves during the regular season, which pitchers get injured all the time. There's no way around that. Basically, every pitcher gets injured every single year. Some are just more drastic than others, and a lot of them just pitch through injury. A lot of
Hmm.
hitters, the same thing. They play through injury.
They do.
We've seen that multiple times. How many times have you seen a guy take a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to the ribs, and he'll take off like a couple days, and then he'll just get back out there? Is he back to normal 2 days
No.
from then? Hell no.
Uh-uh.
Hell no.
Dude, I got hit by a ball like 3 or 4 years ago, and I still feel it on my elbow. It's like, man, are you kidding? And that was in 90 miles per hour. It's probably 70 or 60.
70, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, 90 mile per hour fastball to the ribs, man. I'm dying. I'm going to the hospital. I don't call me back because I ain't playing anymore. Yeah, dude. So fantasy baseball news, we don't have that much because we really don't have baseball season. So how can we talk about fantasy? We will know when we would start talking about fantasy baseball, when we know if there's going to be a season. Hopefully, there's no more canceled games and there's no more canceled series. Uh, it's just going to be one of those things where I think we're just going to have to wait and sit around and see what happens. We're going to try to get on every chance we get. We're trying to have a set date, which we haven't planned, which is good for us right now that there's no baseball because we still haven't put our the date that we're going to do it on and the time because we want to be consistent to our listeners and we want to be respectful to them to they can go ahead and do it and get on whenever we on and ask those questions. But for now, as we're going with our show, we will go ahead and explore those avenues. And once we have those details, we'll go ahead and put them out on Instagram and every platform that we have. I don't even know how many platforms we have now. So we'll go ahead and put them out there. Will, anything else, man? I know we already talked about it a lot. We've been talking about the cancel season, and we understand fans' frustration because we have that frustration of like not understanding why like when this is gonna get done
Yeah,
because we're not in those meetings.
I think that the key to finally coming to an agreement is Manfred just has to be there at every single meeting. You know, we talked about before we started recording today that the first time that Manfred ever showed up in person to one of these CBA meetings was on the 25th of February.
Yeah,
So the very first meeting from January 13th all the way to February 25th, Manfred was not there in person. You know, he was
mm,
probably getting he might have
proxy.
been on conference call, he might have been on Zoom or something like that. But I mean, show these guys some respect, you
He might have
know.
been on vacation, man. You never know.
He might have been. I've seen videos of him golfing in the past like couple weeks. Like, really? This is what you're doing with your time right now? You need to be focusing on your priorities, which should be getting baseball back on television right now.
Yeah. Well, we don't know when this is gonna get resolved. The last time there was a lockout or a strike for the baseball MLB was in 1994. There was a season where the Dodgers and the Expos, who remembers the Expos? That's a good team. They were leading their divisions and they looked like the top contenders to go to the World Series. And I don't know, I don't remember who the commissioner was. I don't know if it was Bud Selig or who it was that was a part of that strike or that lockout, but they didn't have a season. They canceled the season and they canceled the playoffs, and nothing was done. I did see something on YouTube where it was one of the comments where Atlanta they took Atlanta's All Star game away, but I wanted to reply, look, in 2020, the Dodgers were supposed to have an All Star game, and the pandemic hit. So now 2022, we need to get that All Star game, and look what's happening. There's a strike or a lockout. Are we going to get to see that All Star game here? I don't know, and that sucks because every time something happens here in LA we don't get it. We didn't get a parade. We didn't get anything like that. And I'm not trying to say, oh, boo hoo hoo, like we're crying about we're not getting anything, but let's think about what's going on. Like there's an All-Star game that was supposed to be played here in 2020. It didn't happen. It was there's an All-Star game to be played here in 2022. That's in jeopardy now. Like it's what is it going to happen? We don't know. So there's so many questions about if the season's going to continue, if the season's going to happen. Are we going to get to see the Braves get their ring? Because they are the 2021 World Series champs. Are we going to get to see that? Are they going to get their rings off the field or on the field? And we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, Will. I mean, anything else you want to say before we log out? I know I said it before, but that was it.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. I mean, we pretty much covered everything that I can kind of think of. Um, I mean, the whole gist of it is the owners and the players just kind of need to work together. They're not working together. They are completely working separate. And I feel like there's a lot of animosity between the owners and the players, and I think they just need to go in there cool, calm, and collected. That's really how you get shit done. It's not going in there angry. It's not going in there with an agenda like I have to get this done. Just go in there and try to just do what's best for the league, not just what's best for you.
Yep.
That goes for the players and the owners.
Yeah, if you're listening. Well, I mean, that's all I got to say. I don't have anything else, so I'll go ahead and just leave it here. We'll log in next time, or we'll put it up on what was it, Instagram? Let you guys know, and I think I can put a countdown now on YouTube. So if you
Oh,
guys are
really?
interested, yeah,
Nice.
I think I can do that. So I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power, Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.
See you guys.